Yes, 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 yes. We are back after a brief winter hiatus. People Before Politics radio show is back.
Yes.
And going to do a little community engagement today. We're going to talk about everything. Hakeem Jeffries becoming the first African American to lead a party in Congress. Latimer vetoing the menthol ban. Mount Vernon NAACP has a new president. New York nurses went on strike in Manhattan and the Bronx. And the Giants, the Jets, and the Buffalo Bills are all out of the playoffs. And hip hop turns 50. We're going to talk about a lot of that. We're going to talk about all that and more on today's show.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up. And they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. Yes, that's right. Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show is back from its winter hiatus. Whole lot of stuff is going down since our last show. Like I said, starting with the Congress, we've seen that shit show of a Congress. They couldn't even the vote for the speaker. It took 15 votes for the first time since 1820 something. It was first time in history. The Democrats stuck together. Want to congratulate Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, the first African American to lead a party in Congress. I think we're going to see great things from that brother. I think that the party is in good hands under his leadership, and I'm eager to see how things go. So a couple of things before we get into anything real heavy. Oh, for all my sports fans, the Jets were already out of the playoffs, and now the Giants got their ass whooped yesterday by Philly, and Buffalo lost. So all the New York teams are not in the playoffs this year. So that's it for New York in the playoffs. But I wanted to, before I get started, I wanted to give a special shout out to, as you know, hip hop turns 50 this year. As you know, I used to be in this group called JBC Force. I had a record called Strong Island, which just is the 35th anniversary of that single, my first single. And I want to shout out comedian Michael Rappaport, who gave us a shout out the other day, I guess on his podcast or something. Let me share that with you real quick.
The people that have come out of Long Island, Strong Island. Shout out to the JVC Force. That's a deep cut. Do yourself a favor and YouTube JVC Force Strong Island. Use that in Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest, because if you were around New York City 86, 87, 88, 89, and you were into hip hop, you know that chorus.
Yeah.
The people.
Shout out to Michael Rappaport. Definitely is a person who's not afraid to say it, speaks truth to power. I don't always agree with his politics, but he has always had a very it's always very, very knowledgeable about hip hop, early hip hop. So I definitely want to shout him out for that. That was a good look. Like I said, the song Strong Island, it's the January 1st, New Year's, was the 35th anniversary of the single. So shout out to my partners, B Love and the DJ Kirk Kazal and everybody who's down with JVC. Shout out to all the fans who held us down for all these years, man. Yo, I just want to say, I'm not going to stay too long on this topic. Yo, I'm honored. I got to keep it real. I'm real honored. You know, I was asked in this interview recently, did I know that the song would be what it ended up being? I know when we left the studio, I know we had something, but I couldn't have told you. If I told you then that I knew 35 years later they'd be playing it all across the world, overseas, still on all satellite radio. Shout to Rock the Bell. Shout out to Shyrock and Kaz. They always play it on their show. It always plays a lot on Rock the Bell. So if I told you that I knew that they'd still be playing it 35 years later, I'd be lying. I'm honored that people are still rocking over some rhymes that I did in the studio 36 years ago. And they still rocking it, still playing it, still talking about it, still showing it love when there's songs that's out now that people ain't trying to hear that was done 6 months ago. So I'm really honored. So shout out to Michael Rappaport. I definitely wanted to do that. Like I said, the Giants, the Jets, and the Buffalo Bills are all out of the playoffs. And this year, hip hop turns 50. So I definitely wanted to put that up. Yo, also, if you've been following me on social media, you know that I utilize this hiatus properly. I was very productive. I just completed my second book, Black Westchester, celebrates Black women of Westchester. Comes out February 17th. We're doing the pre-orders now. If you follow me on social media, you'll see the PayPal and the Cash App. If you don't know how you want to pre-order, you can either DM me, Mr. AJ Woodson, as you see right there on the screen, on all social media platforms, or Mr. AJ Woodson at gmail.com. Email me to pre-order an autograph copy. It'll be available on Amazon. I know a lot of people have been asking about the book and wondering what the book's about. So let me break that down for you real quick. Damon's working. Before y'all ask me, Damon's working. Lisa Maria Nero, who is a co-host, she's just driving back from North Carolina. It's raining real hard. I didn't want her to concentrate on the road instead of trying to tune in from the road. So shout out to her. Shout out to Lorraine Lopez. Shout out to Dr. Bob, who may or may not chime in, but right now I'm just gonna hold it down. We may just do an hour. I'm not sure. That depends on y'all. I'll put the link up if y'all want to chime in and talk about a topic or just say a couple of words. I'll put the link out so y'all can chime in. So anyway, the book is Black Westchester. Let me see if I can actually pull it up real quick. I want to see if I can pull it up real quick. So basically, Black Westchester celebrates Black women of Westchester. It's in like this book took on a life of its own. Originally, it was supposed to be a book on Black history, men and women, and Black Westchester on our website and in the newspaper. Basically, that's what we do. Basically, anyway, you know what I'm saying. A lot of what we do is Black history. So I was going to just do a lot of the stories, put a lot of the stories from the website over the last going on 9 years, and put them in the book, and then it just expanded. Then it ended up being just a book celebrating Black women. So it's in 5 parts. So part one, my mother always said, "Give me my flowers while I'm alive." So part one is all of the women who made history over this last decade that we covered in Black Westchester. You know, Sean Patterson Howard becoming the first Black female mayor in Mount Vernon, Vivian McKenzie becoming the first Black female mayor elected in Peekskill, Tajon Nelson becoming the first Black female Board of Election commissioner, and so on and so on and so on. So part one is that first decade, giving them all their flowers while they were alive. Part two is all of those that paved the way. You know, Dr. Olivia Hooker, Pearl Quarles, Alfreda Williams, Lois Bronze, on and on and on. Simma Brandon, all of those who made history and paved the way for everybody else. Part three is women of distinction. Um, this section is for all of those. They may not have been the first, but we felt that they needed to be celebrated. You know, Sandra Blackwell from um, um, Westchester County Press, which was, Westchester County Press was the solo African American voice in media in Westchester for decades. We was a tribute that we did on the site, and I expanded on it for Ruby D when she passed. Um, so on and so on. So many women like that we celebrate. And part four is actually a timeline in the history of Black women in Westchester, and it includes every Black woman who lived in Westchester at some point and made history, going back to 1828. And I learned a lot. I didn't know Sojourner Truth lived in Briarcliff Manor, and she's the first African American to sue a white man and win. So it goes back to Madam C.J. Walker. She was in, I believe, Irvington. She built a big house out there. And it goes all the way, the first this, the first that, first Black cop, first city councilwoman in multiple municipalities, first Black police, female police chief. It just goes through Ella Fitzgerald, Vanessa Williams, Mary J. Blige, all of that in there. It's I crammed in as much as I could, as many women as I could in those pages. I should have had the cover up so y'all could see it. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. So I can pull it up real quick. Let's see if I can pull up a picture real quick so I can show it to y'all. Let's see. No, it's not coming up this way. Oh, there it goes. Let's see if this comes up on the screen. Nope, it wouldn't come up that way. It wouldn't come up that way. Let's see if I can make it a background real quick. Add image. Let's see if that works. It's loading up now. See if y'all can see the cover. Okay. I don't think. Do I have to be off you? At Mr. AJ Woodson, you'll see the cover. But I tried to cram in as many um, black women from Westchester in there as possible. Of course, I couldn't cram them all in. Let's see, we got a few people already in the comment section. Um, Sandra Barnaby said, "Your book is a huge gift to all women of Westchester. Thank you, AJ." And then she said, "I can't wait to get my signed copy." Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so that's what I've been doing during this hiatus. I really took a lot of time, did a lot of research, and um, I'm looking forward to y'all seeing this book and seeing what y'all think about this book. I will be everywhere. We're doing a little library tour. I am um, I am already scheduled for Scarsdale Library, Scarsdale, Ossining, Tuckahoe, for the last book, but the Black Westchester Origin Story. I'm already got those scheduled for Black History Month. But um, the 17th, anything after the 17th, I'll have the new book with me too. The first book signing for the new book will be Saturday, March 4th. At the Greenberg Public Library, sponsored by the Greenberg White Plains chapter of the NAACP. Shout out to Janice King for helping to put that together and help promote that. And I'm going to be doing a lot more. So um, just look out. You'll see me everywhere. Again, the book is Black Westchester Celebrates Black Women of Westchester. Comes out February 17th. Hit me in social media or check any of my social media or email me on how you can pre-order your autographed copy now. Um, Moving on. So Sandy said, can we talk about the new mental health court, a diversion for misdemeanors? I wonder if we have data segregated by race. I don't have any information. I'm just getting back into the groove of things, Sandy. Um, I will gladly send you the link if you want to come on here and talk about it. Though we can talk about it. I'm opening the show up to all of those watching to come on and speak about what they want to speak about. Um, will you talk about the mental health counters, the new mental health counter that is focused on diverting mentally ill from the criminal justice system for misdemeanors? I'm wondering if we have data by race. Who is stopped where for what? It reminds me of Stop and Frisk and how that filled the courts and the pockets of New York City for years. Um, Definitely great discussion we could definitely have. Um, but I don't have any information on that right now. Again, I can send you the link, Sandy, if you want to come on and speak a little bit about that. I definitely welcome you because I'm trying to do some community engagement today. So definitely, if you want to come on and speak about that, I'm texting you the link right now. That's if you want to come on and say a couple of words. Anybody watching, again, I put it in on Facebook. Hello, Janelle. How are you doing? Janelle is the newest Mount Vernon library trustee, I believe. She was just appointed, I believe. I'll be covering a little bit more on that later. That I will be covering. Okay, so here we go. A lot has happened while I've been gone. It's a lot going on with the Mount Vernon Public Library. We will be dealing with that uh, in depth soon. There's a lot going on from New Rochelle. I was getting some calls from New Rochelle. Lots of calls about what's going on in New Rochelle. I will definitely be taking a few trips to New Rochelle and actually getting into everything going on. There's several things going on that need to be covered. So we will be talking about that. Um, Sandy said I don't have much info on the court. Let's keep an eye on it. Yes, Sandy. Please keep me anything you find out. Please let me know. That definitely might be something we could do a show on. Let's get some other people that's well versed on it, pro and con, and let's have a nice conversation about it. I think that might be a great show. If you know anybody that would be good to have on the show, please let me know. But yeah, I would definitely like to. That definitely sounds like a topic we need to discuss. Definitely sounds like a topic we need to discuss. So there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. Special board meeting Wednesday, January 25th. Public can attend. That was for the Mount Vernon Public Library, the special meeting. Also in Mount Vernon going on, the Mount Vernon NAACP now has a new president, Kathy Brewington. Shout out to um, shout out to Maddie Little, who has been the president for the last 12, 15 years or so. Um, as was some controversy over the election and the new voting system and everybody not getting a chance to vote or whatever, but the state and the national certified the election, even though it was very low results. And the new president is Kathy Brewington. I have joined the NAACP. I have been known to, I guess you would say, throw rocks at the building from the outside a lot of times. I guess that's how you can sum it up. But I decided I was going to join some of these organizations. I was going to try. I mean, I've already been involved with the NAACP. I've worked with New Rochelle. I've worked with Mount Vernon. I'm an unofficial member of the Mount Vernon branch. I've been a member of the Greenberg White Plains branch under Lena Anderson when she was there. Damon was over criminal justice, the criminal justice committee. So I've been involved. We've worked with Peak Skills, but Mount Vernon being the only Black-run city, not just in Westchester, not just in New York, but maybe in the Eastern Seaboard. Closest cities you have is like Newark, which is not Black-run, has a Black mayor, and maybe Philly, but it's not really Black-run. But so I felt that the city with the only Black-run city should have a thriving NAACP. And I have to say, and it's not a knock on anybody who was in leadership before, but I have not heard a peep from the NAACP on anything in the 9 years that we've been doing Black Westchester. So I decided to see what was going on and join. They had an election. We have a new president now. I'm probably going to be on like an executive committee or something, and try to help bring the membership back up, and hopefully we'll have a thriving branch, which we should have. Again, in the only Black-run city, this Black organization should be thriving. So I'm going to do what I can to see if I can help that happen. But shout out to Kathy. She's the new president. They meet right now. I think they meet every third Wednesday of the month at the Dole Center. So anybody interested, in joining and getting back and see what they're talking about now, definitely come through. Or if you don't know if you don't know when, um, give me a buzz, and I will definitely. Um, Leslie Branch said I wrote an ethnology. I'm sure I mispronounced that word on NAACP about its structure a few years ago. I would like to hear about that. I would like to see that. Leslie, welcome to the show, Leslie. Um, Sandy said I respect your decision to support the Mount Vernon NAACP support. You know what? It's easy. So everybody knows Black Westchester is probably the most critical voice against many of the establishments and many of the city governments. Um, Rightfully so. I mean, not calling out things that need to be called out, but sometimes you got to try to work from the inside, and that's something that I never really did when I was younger, and I'm going to try. There's a lot of restraints being in the NAACP. You can't say things. You got to get approved by the state and all this before you can do stuff. I mean, I'm still going to do Black Westchester. When I speak, I'll be representing Black Westchester, not the NAACP. But I would like to see it thriving. Mount Vernon is also they're supposed to be starting back up the Rotary Club, which is supposed to be another organization that is supposed to be that fights for a lot of different things. So I've gone to a few of their meetings to see the structure of how they're trying to start that and see what's up with that. So yeah. So anyway, enough about that. But yes, I will be. A lot of y'all have been calling me about a lot of things that have been going on. Like I said, while I was on hiatus from the show, I really tunnel vision into getting this book out, which was a lot of research, and I hope y'all all like it. Um, but I'm back now. I'm rested. And I'm gonna be getting back into everything. There's a lot of things going on in Mount Vernon. We have interesting elections coming up this year. The Mount Vernon mayor race, which promises to be the gift that keeps on giving. The Yonkers mayor race. And the reason I'm doing this today, I had two guests that was supposed to be on today. Mayor Spano from Yonkers is actually supposed to be on, not as a candidate, but just giving like his year. And I've done this with Andrew Stewart Cousins and George Latimer and a few others and some other mayors um, to talk about what he's, talk about a review of last year and a kind of what his plans are for Yonkers this year. So he wasn't able to make it. He had to reschedule, so he'll be on next week at the 7 o'clock hour. But that race, one of the things we will be talking about is the whole term limits thing. Anybody following that knows, so I'm going to have him address that and let him just talk about his vision for the city for the next year. It's a better strategy for how to reach and relate to young people. Um, that's my ultimate goal, Leslie. Right now, reaching and relating to young people, and one of my criticisms, if I was to say anything, I said I wasn't going to criticize the former NAACP president. But what I see, and not just with her, what I see in a lot of the institutions, we have people that get into these offices and they stay there forever, ever and ever and ever and ever. And I don't think that these offices should be a retirement home. Like I think you need new vision. You need new ideas. You need to engage the young. You need to bring them up and let them take over. I mean, on the national level, I respect Nancy Pelosi for grooming Hakeem Jeffries, and then passing the mantle to him and then stepping back. She's not quit. She's not retiring. She's still going to serve, but she's going to, you know what I'm saying, let him lead and mentor him. And I think we fail to do that in many of our institutions as a people. And we turn away these young people, and we don't reach out to them and build them up. And that's kind of what the problem is with some of the things now. I'm not saying all change is good, but I think we need to utilize our young people. We need to get them involved. We need to mentor them. So anybody who's trying to do anything that we're doing right here, anybody trying to do anything right here, the Black West, we do a Black Westchester. I always bring them in. Anybody who we try to mentor them. We try to pass guide them and create a platform for them to grow into whatever they're going to do, because they're going to be the future of whatever this is. So yes, we definitely need to reach and relate to our young people. The Yonkers NAACP brought a lawsuit to the city council and the mayor for basically self-dealing when they voted themselves extended term limits rather than bringing a vote to the people. Now, just before I left for Thanksgiving, the week before I went, and the Yonkers City Council voted to put this on the ballot, and it was a back and forth thing. I think Anthony Miranda, I think if I'm pronouncing his name right, wanted to put a referendum where it didn't go to vote. They didn't vote for it then, but they put it on the they put a referendum for the people to vote. So I'm just gonna tell you what I do know. I talked to some of the people that have a problem with the term limit extension, and I'm gonna let you make up your own mind. So in 1990 something, I guess the city voted for there to be term limits for the mayor and for the city council. Now, understand this was a different mayor and a different city council than we have now. So the people voted on this. In 2001, I think they wanted to extend the term limits another term from 2 terms to 3 terms, and the city overwhelmingly voted against it. Now, here we are, what's this, 23? So I think 2019, yeah. So 2019, Spano was coming up against the end of his second term, and there was rumors that they was going to overturn term limits, and he was going to run for a third term. So he came on our show, and we asked him the question, because that was the elephant in the room, and he said, and this video has been shared all over the place. He said, I don't know how many times to tell you, I'm not running. I'm not, even if they extend term limits, I have no desire to run. Later on, the city council extended the term limits, and he said the people wanted him to run, so he ran again for a third term. He's in his third term now. Now again, the city council voted to extend it from 3 terms to 4 terms. The problem some people are having, the last time the people voted, which was 2001, again, different mayor, different city council. I think it was Republican rule back then. The people voted no. I've talked to some people who said they're not even against Spano running again. They just are mad because the city council did this twice in a 4-year period. They voted and didn't let the people have a voice and have a say-so in the process, when the last vote was overwhelmingly no. So there's a bunch of people in the city that are like, yo, let the people vote, let the people vote, let the people vote, and then whatever happens, happens, but let the people vote. And then there's another constituency that says, 4 more years, 4 more years. So that was the first I went before I left for Thanksgiving, that week before Thanksgiving. They voted to put it on the ballot, and then while I was gone, they voted for the term. The council voted for extending the term limits. That's not just for mayor; that's also for the council as well. It got kind of ugly in there. It was kind of heated. A few people got into an arguing situation. I think someone was arguing with Councilwoman Tasha Diaz, and maybe she was arguing back. I don't know what happened officially, but I know Hector Santiago got into something. He had his arm in a sling, and some people said he spazzed out on some people. I seen cops trying to take him out. Don't know what happened there, but it was heated. It was very heated, and almost a few fights almost broke out because there's some people were saying, "Yo, you can't extend this without let people vote on it." And the fact that this followed the November election, I think that's was a couple of things that bothered a few people. They just had an election. They decided to vote on it after the election. Since they just had an election, why didn't they make it a resolution or something, or or proper, one of those things you turn the ballot over and you got to check those things at the back. Why didn't they make it in the election so that people could vote? So I think that was some of the problems people were having. So yes, I'm aware that NAACP brought a lawsuit, and I'm waiting to see how that pans out. But like I was saying, what Leslie said, there needs to be succession planning for longevity. Yes. So that election is going to be kind of heated. Councilwoman Shanae Williams has announced she's going to run against county legislator Christopher Johnson, she succeeded in his seat when she was appointed to that seat when he got elected to the county legislative seat. She was appointed to the District 1 council seat. Now she is challenging him for the county legislative seat, and her administrative aide Deanna, she's running for city council. So there's a lot of moving parts. Hey, Keisha, what's going on? I was just talking about you and the NAACP and the lawsuit and all of that. We were just talking about that. How are you doing? Yeah, so the Mount Vernon election coming up is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. The Yonkers election coming up is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. I understand some of the Hispanic community is very disappointed that they only have one seat on the county legislators, and they may be putting somebody up against all of the county legislators. They may be putting a candidate up, so that's going to be interesting. The Republicans, as you've seen in the last election, are challenging every seat. And as you've seen, James Nolan took one of the Democratic seats in the county legislators from Ruth Waters. And the Republican candidate that ran for county council president gave Lakeisha a run for her money. Usually when you win and when you win the Democratic primary and usually ease on down the yellow brick road to the general election, but they challenged her. So you got the Republicans challenging a bunch of seats, you got the Hispanics challenging a bunch of seats. This is going to be a very, very active election season. And yes, Reverend Margaret Fountain Coleman is one of the people that is running against Mayor Spano for mayor in Yonkers. It's like one or two other people. But I haven't heard them announce. So only people I know that announced is Reverend Coleman, who you might know from the Yonkers NAACP. So yeah, Keisha, I was just talking about y'all. I was just talking about We got a new president in Mount Vernon NAACP, and I was talking about working with y'all at the Yonkers NAACP. Just talking about all of that. You just missed all of that. So, welcome to the show, Keisha. And I agree. It is going to be a very interesting election cycle. And yes, Reverend Coleman just announced, and Spano's running, but has he actually announced? Has he actually announced? I don't know if he actually announced, but he is expected to be running for a fourth term. So, again, I went over that whole thing. We're gonna see how all of that plays out. All of this is going to be very interesting. In Mount Vernon, you have the incumbent, the current mayor, Sean Patterson Howard. You have a former mayor who had to leave office early, Richard Thomas, that's supposed to be running. You have the former mayor who filled in for Richard Thomas the rest of Richard Thomas' term when he had to step down, Andre Wallace running. And I understand there might be one or two other people running. And there's a handful of council people running for those two seats. So both of those elections are going to be very aggressive. And I'm sorry, but I'm expecting it to be a little dirty. Every election, especially in every election has got a little uglier and uglier, and I don't expect this to be any different. Huh. Sandy said, shouldn't Richard Thomas be running to jail? Well, he did take a plea. He pled guilty to lesser charges, to two misdemeanors. I don't think. I mean, I wrote an article. It's on Black Westchester. I feel like, I don't see how he could look at that sentence by anything other than a win. It with supposedly what they had on him, and he pled to two lesser charges, and the only thing withstanding, in addition to stepping down, is he couldn't run for office the next year, which is really stupid because there was no election the next year. So that's like telling me I can't do something that I already can't do. Like, if you really wanted to punish him saying he couldn't run for 5 years, that would eliminate him from being able to run in this election. But that he couldn't run for any office the next year, there was no election in Mount Vernon the next year. So that wasn't really a punishment. But, I expected, those three names that I named were in the last election, and that got pretty ugly, and I don't see it getting any prettier this year. So, I'm getting myself ready. Michael Joseph has announced. Announced for what, Keisha? Who's Michael Joseph? Who's Michael Joseph, please? I don't know who that is real quick. Higher about Andre Wallace, huh? I'm lost. Oh, Andre Andre Wallace is running. I don't know if that's what you're asking me about, but yes, Andre is running. I did talk to him. Michael Joseph Spano. Is that the mayor's middle name, Joseph? I never knew that was his middle name. Okay, I never knew. I never knew that Spano's middle name was Joseph. He actually will be on next week talking about his vision for the next year. And I will be sure to mention that his middle name is Joseph because I didn't know that. Yes. Yes. This is Community Engagement Day because my guest canceled. Anybody who wants to come on and get on screen and instead of typing and say a few words, let me know and I will send you the link and you can come on the screen. I'm trying to do some of these. I'm gonna do one that's planned out. I didn't plan this. I had two guests and they one is sick. One had to be scheduled, so that wasn't planned. So um, please mention that you. Okay, I will. I will. I will. Aha. Sandy said I vote for Keisha. I don't think she's running for anything right now, but I, I'd probably vote for her too, depending on what she. I'm certainly. I'm starting. No. This week is community engagement week because I have no guests, Keisha. So if you want to come on and say a couple of words, this is your time to come on and say a couple of words while I fill this time. Oh, since a lot of y'all wasn't on, I'm gonna play it again. I'm sorry, I toot my own horn a little bit. I mean, I just was so. I just want to share this real quick. So a lot of y'all know about my hip hop days. I want to give a shout out to Michael Rappaport who shouted us out on his podcast. We'll play that clip real quick for everybody who missed it earlier.
The people that have come out of Long Island, Strong Island. Shout out to the JVC force. That's a deep cut. Do yourself a favor and YouTube JVC force, Strong Island. Use that in Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest, because if you were around New York City 86, 87, 88, 89, and you were into hip hop, you know that chorus.
I love the way he tried to imitate the guitar riff. I get a kick out of that. So I wanted to shout him out again. Shout out to Michael Rappaport for shouting out my rap group. Let's hear the song. Y'all have to Google that. I'm not gonna play the song. Facebook be bugging out when you play music, even if it's your own music. They want to cut you. They want to cut your live stream. But yeah, you could you could actually Google. It's all over. It's on YouTube and everything. Today, January 1st was the 35th anniversary of that song, and every time I say it, I date myself severely. Yes, the 35th anniversary of that song. My first single with my group, Strong Island, because I was living out in Long Island at the time. Yeah, shout out to Michael Rappaport. When I saw that, I thought that was cool. Like I said, I respect that he speaks his mind all the time. I respect anybody who speaks their mind. I don't always agree with him. I respect that he speaks his mind, though. Anybody, I think we all should, speak what we feel. But and he's not scared to speak truth to power when necessary. But I've always known that he was an avid hip hop fan, and he's on point. He's like he said, our music was in the Tribe Called Quest, the documentary that they had. It was in there, and it's about 4 other documentaries on that have to do with hip hop on that's on Netflix right now. You can hear our music in it. So anyway, I just wanted to say that was just a little, I saw that earlier, and I just wanted to share that and shout him out for shouting us out. Like, I was kind of shocked. Like, I was, I mean, I know a lot of people know, but I'm just, anytime you hear somebody like him, and he was like, and I got a kick out of him trying to play the drums, sing the drums. That is hilarious. But that is how it goes, though. Yeah. So, yes. Keisha said a little before her time. Yeah, I know I'm dating myself. I will be 57 in exactly, like 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks from today, I think. February 5th, I believe that's 2 weeks. 29th? Yeah, exactly 2 weeks from today, I will be 57. So, yeah, I'm dating myself a little bit, but it is what it is, though. So just so you know, that part he was talking about, I'm gonna see if I can play it and y'all can hear it for Sandy. That's the part he was trying to do with the guitar. That's so. If y'all trying to figure out what he was doing, that's the opening riff of the song. Guitar riff off "Free the Pain," um, "The Easiest Way to Fall," and something unchanged generate. I forgot. You said he nailed it, Janelle. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Free the Pain who we sampled back in '88, and 35 years they still playing it. Shout out to LL's Rock the Bells on Sirius Radio, MC Shyrock and Grandmaster Caz who played all the time, and everybody overseas, all the overseas DJs that still show us like mad love. Like, we were actually supposed to go on the road before COVID, doing a series of shows, us, the Jungle Brothers, Nice and Smooth, and a couple of other groups were talked about, but then COVID happened and that killed all that. So, like, we really get lots of real big love overseas. Like, still, like, they really. They'll come out. You can do the same cities over and over every year, and they'll still be there and fill that place up. They love it out there. So anyway, enough of that. But shout out to Michael Rappaport. Anybody want to come on? So Keisha, do you want to come on and say a couple of words? Anybody want to come on and say a couple of words? I'm opening up. Shout out to the New York nurses. They support. I support the New York State Nurses Association, the union. They always stand behind us as we fight for. When we were fighting to keep Mount Vernon Hospital open, they stood for that. They stood with us, and they didn't have to. They had their own little contract negotiation, and they could have negotiated, or in that hospital closed, they could have just moved to other hospitals. That's all. But they stood with us and fought, and they stopped the hospital from being closed, and now we're trying to transform it to a state-of-the-art hospital, and they're fighting with us. So they went on strike for I think 3 days in the Bronx and in Manhattan, and I believe they're going over the contracts now. They're going to give me the information. I'm going to put it out there. Also, I'm going to be coming out with a big editorial soon. The conditions at Mount Vernon Hospital, where nurses are being physically attacked, and Montefiore is not providing them with any kind of security or anything. I was on a Zoom call and heard some of the nurses tell their stories about how they're, physically attacked. Some patients that have, maybe some mental health issues. Or whatever, but there's I don't know if there's not enough security there, but the conditions that they're working under are horrible. And yes, the nurses in Mount Vernon belong to the New York State Nurses Association. I was on a Zoom with them because they stand with us for the fighting for the hospital, and they're going to give me the information, and I'm gonna expose the inside conditions of what's going on in Mount Vernon Hospital to the residents, because a lot of people don't even know. Plus, a lot of people don't know that the hospital's still open because, they were told that the hospital was closing. And what Montefiore did, and they stripped it of all the services that are needed in Mount Vernon. So, which was their plan all along, they stripped the services. And directed the ambulance to take patients to either New Rochelle or the Bronx. And then they went and told the state, yeah, nobody's using the hospital. They took the trauma unit out. Right now, there's a lot of senseless violence. If any hospital need a trauma unit, it's Mount Vernon Hospital. There are people that could have been saved dying on the way to Jacoby Hospital in the Bronx. They did a study that there's more people with heart conditions and diabetes and all that in Mount Vernon. But there's no cardiac unit there. you can't give birth in the hospital. There's no maternity unit there, ward there. Like they basically stripped it of the services, and we're fighting that they transform it back into a state of the art hospital because Mount Vernon needs a state of the art hospital. And we're gonna put some pressure on the governor. She came down here getting everybody's votes and shaking hands and standing with all our elected officials, but she's doing very little from the state level. And Montefiore gets money from the state for the hospitals. So we're going to be putting some pressure. I'm going to be covering a lot of that. That's another thing I'm going to be covering. You're going to hear a lot about that lately soon. I'm just gathering all the information. Like I said, there's a bunch of stories coming up. I'm back now. There's a bunch of stuff we are going to be talking about. The conditions at the county jail with the female correction officers has not been solved. The county still has not done anything about that. That issue is not dead. We're going to be talking about that. Anybody who don't know what I'm talking about, hit me. I'll send you the link of I'll send you the link. We've covered that, but we're going to be look out for that. We're going to be talking about that. What else happened since I've been going? The county legislators tried to put a menthol ban, pass a menthol ban to ban the sale of menthol and flavored cigarettes in Westchester County. I'm not advocating for anybody to smoke, but I felt that the ban was much to do about nothing when the county passed the law in 2018 to raise the age from 18 to 21, and then New York State in 2019 raised the age from 18 to 21. And they're saying that they're doing it to protect the youth. If the youth are still getting it, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 years after the law has been passed, this ban is not going to do anything. So I didn't hear them. They were talking about it being an addiction and a health issue, but I heard nothing about them doing anything to deal with the health aspect of it, whether education, whether providing patches and gum, whether helping people to get off of it. They just was going to take it away, but not all cigarettes, just menthol. So anyway, the county legislature passed it. I covered that extensively, and then George Latimer vetoed the ban, and pledged $3 million for education, and some grants for organizations that deal with educating the youth, preventing them from smoking. So I think that's necessary, and he said he's going to work with the state and to enforce the laws that are already on the books. So that was another big thing that happened over the break while we were on our winter hiatus. Anybody that's on, Sandy, Janelle, Keisha, anything that you want to hear me talk about, anything that you want to bring up, anything else that's going on right now you want to shed some light on, anybody else that's tuned in too. Is there anything else they want to talk about? I talked about Hakeem Jeffries, but I just want to give him a shout out again. Hakeem Jeffries did his thing when he won the he did he's made history as the first African American to lead a party in Congress. And when they went to vote for speaker, it took like 15 votes for them to be able to get enough votes to pass for the speaker, but he had to give everything away to get it. So he's going to be a very weak speaker. I'm waiting to see how this plays out. It's not going to be a good look. I'm looking for a clip real quick, see if I can find it. If I can find it, I really want to share this clip if I see it. But yeah, shout out to Hakeem Jeffries. Um, yeah, save. Trying to pull this up on the fly real quick. Back to the screen. Uh, I always want to shout out that the county exec promised to implement a racial equity initiative in Westchester and has not done so. Okay, we've been working on this for years with him, and he does not take action. I I know there's some stuff that I know Damon said, yo, oh, we're working on with criminal justice or whatever. That Damon is frustrated about. That he feels like, he feels like he wasted his time having all those meetings because you know he feels like nothing was really done. Like, nothing was really done. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is it. Let me get the link and click download the link. Yeah, I definitely want to show this. I know everybody showed this. I know y'all have seen it before, but I got a kick out. I watched this live. I got a kick out of this. Let's see. Okay, it's downloading. Okay, what did I miss? We got nowhere. He makes promises and does not follow through. Well, I know he's not running again, and they're supposed to be getting behind Ken Jenkins to run. But I know there's a lot of people frustrated. Like I said, I know the county workers, especially in the jail, are very upset about the female correction officers being sexually abused, sexually attacked, and whatever. There's a whole thing about that we covered, and nobody's doing nothing about it. And I know that they don't have like maternity leave, like, so, and it's not just the correction officer. I think it's female county workers. They actually have to, because I talked to Chris Johnson about it, and he was saying that his administrative aide had a child and she had to take her own time, after giving birth, because they don't have maternity leave. And that's another thing. If these issues, there's a lot of people upset about these issues, and if these issues are not addressed, Ken Jenkins might have a hard time when it comes to that election, because he's there now, and people a lot of people are not happy. We should come up with a list of grievances to be addressed in 2023. Yeah, these things that need to be done, because Ken's going to need all his votes, because I don't know who they're running from the Republican side, but the Republicans are coming for that seat. So he gonna need all the votes he can get. They're building of a new Woodfield Cottage is another concern. What is that? Sandy, tell me about that. Tell me about it. I'll read it. I don't know what you're talking about. What is Woodfield Cottage? I'm sorry. Oh, the youth detention. That's what it's called. That's the thing. That's the one that's up at Valhalla. That's in conjunction with Children's Village, I think. Is that it? Um, Yo, there are a lot of issues. We just talking right now. As you see, my hands are full. It's going to be a very, very busy year. Um, it's going. Yes. So yes. I was talking to Patrick about that. I put Patrick on the phone with Damon a while back, addressing that, and Dr. Bob. I don't know where those conversations went, but I know I connected him with them about the conditions there and some of the stuff that he was talking about. I need to probably bring Patrick on the show and have him update us on what's going on with that. Shout out to Patrick, aka Patty Duke is his Facebook name. Um, yeah, I want to bring him on maybe and have him update where we are with that. That might be necessary. Yeah. Okay, let me see if this will load up real quick. If this will load up real quick. Downloads. It should be loading up. Yes. So I'm gonna play this Hakeem. I really got a kick out of seeing this live. I know they ran it over and over and over, but we were off the air, and I didn't get a chance to share it. The speech he made when he went to hand the gavel over to McCarthy, I think that's his name, and he did what I call the alphabetic aerobics. I just want to play that real quick. I want to share that.
Will always put American values over autocracy, benevolence over bigotry, the Constitution over the cult, democracy over demagogues, economic opportunity over extremism, freedom over fascism, governing over gaslighting, hopefulness over hatred, inclusion over isolation, justice over judicial overreach, knowledge over kangaroo courts, liberty over limitation, maturity over Mar-a-Lago, normalcy over negativity, opportunity over obstruction, people over politics, quality of life issues over QAnon, reason over racism, substance over slander, triumph over tyranny, understanding over ugliness, voting rights over voter suppression, working families over the well-connected, xenial over xenophobia, yes we can over you can't do it, and zealous representation over zero-sum confrontation. We will always do the right thing.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that when he did that. Like I said, I didn't get a chance. I wasn't on the air when that was going on, but I just wanted to share that. And I love that he said people over politics. I'm going to get one of my DJ producer friends to sample that, him saying that, and put that in the opening or something, in the new opening. Got to use that. But yeah, shout to Hakeem Jeffries. Been watching him for a while. And he came to Mount Vernon for a town hall with Congressman Bowman at Centennial Church. I think I have it on Black Westchester. You can see that on blackwestchester.com. And I get a kick. I'm a hip hop head. I'm a hip hop head. I'm always gonna be a hip hop head. To hear him quote Biggie lyrics from the congressional floor, I always got a kick out of that. You can see the Brooklyn come out of him in that speech that night. But he represents, and I think he's gonna do the party proud. And I think I think Nancy Pelosi groomed him to lead, to be the leader, and is putting all her support behind him. So hopefully he will continue to be able to keep them Dems together the way she was. She was able to get stuff done, and hopefully he'll be able to do the same thing with her support. So shout out to Hakeem Jeffries. That was most of the things that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about. I want to hear from all of you. What do you want to see us talk about this year? What, Sandy? I agree. Your topic. Let's talk offline and let's see if we can do a whole show on that. Trying to find your original comment. I think that could be a great show. Yeah. Mental health court focuses on diverting mental health mental ill to from the criminal justice system. I absolutely agree. I mean, because we're going to be doing, um, especially Damon when Damon is available, we're going to be addressing a lot more of mental health in our communities because it's the thing that like people don't really talk about. Like it's the thing that people don't want to admit that exists. And he got the book. It was one book, Black Minds Must Matter. Y'all haven't seen that? Go on Amazon and get that book. Do I have his thing up? Of his book? Yeah, here it goes. Uh, so if you haven't gotten any of those, make sure you get them. Again, let me just show you. And for those who still haven't got the voice of the people ended up being um, ended up changing the political landscape over the last decade, and Westchester, and we're still going strong. Coming on our 9 year anniversary in a couple of months. So definitely support and Black Westchester celebrates Black women of Westchester coming out February 17th. Definitely get that if you get a chance. It's available for pre-order right now. Let me see. Let me see. If I can pull that up real quick. It's not there. Maybe it's here. I don't know where it went. I was trying to pull it up for you real quick. Anyway, that's what I was doing during the hiatus. Just working on the new book. All files, it's not there. It's not in there. Yeah. Anyway, um, get that if you can. I'm probably gonna cut it short today because, like I said, we had the guests. We had guests that were scheduled and they couldn't make it at the last minute. So I don't want to just be running my mouth for the sake of running my mouth. Oh, it's in pictures. Okay, the sake of running my mouth, just for the sake of running my mouth. I want to, I want to definitely make everything count. But oh, here we go. This is Thank you all for who've already started ordering. Thank you all who have shared it on your pages. I forgot who it was. Nancy Height, um, who's starting up the opening the Mount Vernon Rotary Club. She actually put it on her page. It was like, how many of these women can you name? And it's like everybody was like a contest. Like everybody's trying to see how many of the faces on the cover could they. I thought that was really cool. I want to thank her. So thank her, Sandy, Cheryl, Brownlee, all those who sent the email out to their networks to help promote it. Really, really excited about this one. This one is the beginning of a series of documenting African Americans in Westchester. Of course, there'll be the Men of Westchester book soon, and there were so many women I crammed in here, but I'm sure I missed a lot. So there'll be a part 2 of this book, and there will be a thanks to my sister, because my sister gave me the idea and she said she wants one. There will be an oversized hardcover deluxe edition coming out hopefully in March. It'll be color, glossy inside pages. It'll be deluxe version. It'll have a lot of pictures and stuff, and that are not in the paperback. But you can pre-order the paperback right now. All right. I don't know who's still with me, but any last words? Any comments? Anything you want me to bring up? Any events coming up you want me to announce? Please share in the comment section, and also, I mean, if you want to come on and say a couple of words, I'll give you the link. Holla at me. If not, we're about to call it a day till next week. But we are back from our hiatus. We are back, blacker and bolder than ever. We will not constrict ourselves to make others feel comfortable. We will be more unapologetic. We will continue to bring you the news with the Black point of view. On here, we will continue to give you that real talk for the community. You know, it's this is going to be a good year. I really think this is going to be a good year for us. It's our 9th year, 6th year for the newspaper, I believe. 2017, yeah. So we're going to. It's going to be busy. I'm being honored. I'm being honored. Sometime in February. Let's see, I'll pull up the flyer real quick. Oh, thank you. Somebody just pre-ordered a book. Thank you. Yes, I'm being honored by the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce for their Black History Award breakfast, Friday, February 24th, 2023, at the Hard Rock Cafe in Times Square. They are honoring the legacy of Black lives that have truly impacted America. I'm being honored as a gentleman, Larry Mullen from WCBS radio personality, James Heldon, New York City Veterans Affairs Commissioner, and myself. We will be honored at the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce Black History Awards breakfast. So I want to shout them out, and anybody who could come down, see you. Anybody who will be up at the caucus in Albany, Damon, Bob, and myself will be up there speaking. So I will see you up there. And again, I got book signings coming up in Tuckahoe, and the Tuckahoe Library, Osnan Library, Scarsdale Library, in February so far, and Saturday, March 4th at Greenberg Public Library, sponsored by the Greenberg White Plains NAACP. And I plan on scheduling a lot more, doing a full library tour for this book. Thank you all. I haven't seen anything move in the comment section, so with that, I'm out. We out a little early today, but I just wanted to say we're back. I didn't want to just not have a show since we was on hiatus for so long. We were going to come back last week. I wanted to put together a really good Martin Luther King show, but I wasn't able to get that done in time. I was trying to meet the deadline for the book. Any last words? Any last comments? Any last anything? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. All right. Well, if there's nothing else from anybody else, then we are out. I greatly appreciate you. You could be doing anything. You are. Wait. In the waiting room? Let me just see. I don't see you. I might be on for a few more minutes if that was Dr. Bob saying he wanted to sign on. If he's not coming on, we out. Oh, there you go. Okay, I guess we're gonna be on for a few more minutes. My brother from another mother is in the building. Dr. Bob is in the building.
My brother.
Yeah, you got your other volume. You got some volume on here. Yes. My brother from
the other volume. You got some volume on
here. Yeah.
Yes. My brother.
All right, you still got something echoing.
That's better now?
Yep, that's much better. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up, AJ? How are you? Wanted to firstly just take you up quickly on the invitation to join you on air, say a few words. Certainly tell you that it's good to see you back from your winter hiatus. And I know, like a lot of the viewers, we're looking forward to all of the new programming that's going to be broadcasting on People Before Politics and some of the new achievements that you in particular have on tap.
Yeah, I shared a lot of that, and also Sandy had an idea to do a show on the new mental health court that focuses on diverting the mentally ill from the criminal justice system for misdemeanors. And I told her that would be a good idea for a show. If she knows anybody, if she gathers any information, and
Right. I'm trying to
we can get anybody. We can have a well-versed conversation about that. That's a conversation we need to have. I know Damon wants to do some stuff on mental health, period. And I just promoted his books, and he's working on his Black Love series books right now. So that's gonna be coming out soon. I let him know we all gonna be up in Albany, and the little awards show that's coming up, and so I basically I just ran my mouth a little bit, and then I played the little Michael Rappaport clip.
Oh, okay. Did you? Yes, I
Yeah.
I was quite surprised yesterday, everyone, when I saw it. Hold on one second, AJ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's still with us in the audience? Who's still with us? Holla if you're still with us. I seen the comments kind of slow down a little bit. Yeah. I played that. I was shocked too. Like I knew he was an avid hip hop head, but when I heard it, I was like, yo, because somebody sent me the clip, and they posted it saying, yo, Michael Rappaport, thanks for shouting out JVC Force, blah, blah, blah. So they tagged me. So I'm looking at it, and I'm half looking at it, and I heard him. I'm like, yo, wait, did he just say? And then I was like, yo, I had to play it back again. I was like, oh, yeah, I need to download that and share it. So
Right,
yeah,
right,
I
right,
did.
right. Well, I know you were
Yeah.
you asked if there were any additional announcements about upcoming events that people were
Yes, yes,
interested
yes.
in sharing, and I wasn't sure if you announced the schedule of community conversations that the mayor's office is sponsoring in preparation of the discussion of the comprehensive plan. You'll remember that Brother Jeff and Brother Talbert had appeared on the show not too long ago in the latter weeks of 2022 to talk about some organizing that they were involved in to try to make sure that citizens of Mount Vernon, residents of Mount Vernon, are more actively involved in the discussion around the comprehensive plan. And so during the holiday, they did forward to me a flyer, and I wanted to.
We had one this week,
Yeah, and I'm not. I think they had one. I
Wednesday.
the 18th. Yes, and then
Yeah,
there
that was the same night. That was the same night as the NAACP meeting. So I kind of went back and forth, but I was mostly in the NAACP meeting.
are another 7 that are scheduled between today and the 18th of March. They're going
Okay.
to be happening on a regular basis. Do you mind if I share my screen and just share
Oh,
with
please do, please do, please do, please do.
So I'm sorry that I was not able to reach out to Brother Jeff or Brother Talbert, but I hope they understand. So, and also everyone, I guess you can see it. Yeah. So you can see everyone that in the upcoming 2023 year, the city of Mount Vernon is going to make a concerted effort to try to strengthen its planning by adopting a comprehensive plan to guide development of both the city's infrastructure as well as the social infrastructure. And so at least in the opening months of this year, there'll be a total of 8 such community conversations, I think, being held in all segments of Mount Vernon, and much to the credit of the mayor's office and other planners, in languages besides English as I look. So that is a plus. And so AJ and I and Damon and everyone would like to encourage you guys to be involved if at all possible. As you know, one of the things that we've really been floundering with as a city is trying to figure out some sort of comprehensive plan to guide redevelopment and reconstruction going forward. And that meets the needs of city residents. And this is an opportunity for everyone to weigh in. So I just wanted to share that very quickly, AJ. I'll also save it and try to share it to Black Westchester's Facebook page.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
If you send it to me, I'll post it tonight too on the website. So
okay, yeah, I'll send that to you too. So yeah, that I'm also, no one will be around to see this, but both AJ and I will be speaking in the Yonkers public school system for Black History Month celebration sometime.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it's something I know I'm looking forward to. AJ and Damon and a couple of other people close to me know that at least I've been doing some research for contemplating a memoir. But AJ's like, Bob, your life might be over by the time it comes out.
Nah, you just it comes out when it's supposed to come out. I mean, I was supposed to have a couple of books out 5-6 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had the first one out last year and the second one out now. So
Well,
they come out.
Kudos to you on the new book that's coming out, AJ. As someone who speaks to you regularly and discusses your projects, I can tell everyone that you have put an extraordinary amount of time and effort and energy to try to make this the best book that you possibly can. I know that there were a number of facts about important leaders, female leaders of Westchester that I had absolutely no idea about before some of our discussions over the past couple of weeks as you've been preparing it. I ordered a copy, and I encourage other people to do so as well. I think it really is a valuable addition to local Westchester County history that allows us to see the connection between the national level civil rights movement and some of the local efforts that were going on here at home. Excuse me, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
So, I urge everyone to get their copy as well.
Someone asked me too, why did I do Westchester? Why, is that I'm limiting the audience? Well, no. First off, we're Black Westchester. I mean, that's first. Secondly, it's something, the same reason we started Black Westchester in the paper, it's something that wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't exist. So, I think you need to lock down the local first before you start. I can write a more national book, but I want to document the achievement of African Americans in Westchester, and this is the first of a series. Like, there'll be the men of Westchester. I'm thinking about, Westchester's involvement in the civil rights era, you know what I'm saying? And some, going back some more, structured topics, documenting, the struggle, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really proud of this one, and I'm really excited. And I hope that, like you just said, there was a couple that you was like, oh, I didn't know that. I hope that everybody walks away with something like, I ain't know that. You know what I'm saying? And they see some stuff in there they didn't know. And shout out to the charter school in Yonkers. They've already ordered 5 copies for the school. You know what I'm saying? So I really would like to see this get into some schools and definitely all the libraries and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. I mean, I will also add, AJ, about the the larger issue of the civil rights movement and why you did not publish a more nationally oriented book. A lot of the scholarship in the area of civil rights history has increasingly shifted to the local movement, local centers, because there has been such a concentration on what national leaders like Martin Luther King and others did, which I think you're mindful of because in your own Black History Month programming, you recognize just how, in a way, hackneyed the focus on those figures has been. Is one that repeatedly garners our attention, and less consideration has been given to local efforts. And that's important for us, AJ, because in some way, those are the models that we have to emulate. What we need to be able to figure out is what we can do at the local level to reinforce and
absolutely.
the direction of the movement at the more national level. You and I have been talking about going up to the Westchester archives to do research about both some of these early figures and also some stuff that I'm working on. And one of the things that I did become aware from previous visits is how the presence of a vibrant third party in the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s, the American Labor Party, may have led to the liberalization of movements here in Westchester. And those will give us other ideas. I know in conversations with Brother Jeff Monroe, for example, one of the things that we continuously wrestle with is, how we can develop independent basis of political power. And it's only through the recovery of the history of local movements and, the local political efforts of the American Labor Party, maybe that will get some inspiration. So I think you've done a considerable service for all of us to remind us.
Talking about local and third parties, a lot of people don't know. In 2015, Damon and I started the Mount Vernon Independence Party.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was
that it yielded with.
How?
And some of the fruit that it yielded with.
Right.
Duarte's.
Right.
Eventual election.
Right.
thanks in part to her initial boost from the Independence Party.
And it kind of fizzled out when Doc Cavallo, the Westchester County chairman, passed. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of fizzled out. But if he was still alive, where we would be kind of right now, like, you know what I mean? It would be huge. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, it would really have been making inroads in local elections. And when you have elections like being decided by 100 votes, and you know what I'm saying, by a couple of votes, that's what the dangerous was about the Independence Party. Like, years ago, Maureen was winning by like 100 votes or something, and when she went the next day, she was down. She ended up being down over 100 or something. Those are the independent votes. And the independent votes at the last minute made the difference. They got Ernie over Maureen in that one election. So, you know, and now the Working Family Party is trying to do their thing. They're the only ones I really see out of all the independent ones that are really trying to do something. Let's see what happens with them, you know. But I think we need a third party, and I'm gonna start talking about it again because I haven't talked about it in years. We also need open primaries. I'm gonna be fighting for that. It's something I was fighting for since like 2014, 2015, and I haven't really spoke. I'm gonna really start educating people and doing some shows on what open primaries are. You know what I'm saying? The you know, the benefits of it, and you know, and yo, that ranked choice voting that they did in the city. The reason they was doing it is because nobody was reaching 50%. In Mount Vernon election, Ernie Davis won by 40% or less. The 4 years later, Richard Thomas won by 38%. 4 years later, Sean Patterson Howard won by 35%. You know what I'm saying? In the primary. Ranked choice voting, they would have to keep going until they, you know, somebody crossed 50%. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, like, you got them places in Georgia, you got to do the runoffs if you don't get 50%. You know, so you have a majority. We those are not majorities, and I know people like Tom Keller and Mount Vernon have been fighting for that. You know, fighting for some kind of runoff or something. If you're not getting the majority, that's not a majority.
Right.
You know, so who knows what, like, going into this election? Who knows what? You know, I mean, it's gone down from 40 to 35 in the last 3 elections. You know, that's why you can't count somebody out like Richard Thomas, because when the more candidates, he can squeeze through with a 30%, 32%. You know what I'm saying? Like and win. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we gotta, you know, but I like the open primary thing where, you know, everybody can vote. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can pick the primary candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, everybody can vote in the primary, whether
Right.
no matter who your party is. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the top 2 go to the general election.
Okay, got you.
And it gives a chance. I mean, real talk. If you're living in a Democratic stronghold, you know, I talked to the Republican chairman in Mount Vernon a lot. He can't run a candidate because he doesn't have enough Republicans in Mount Vernon to run. And if you live in a Republican stronghold, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, where the Republican primary is the big primary, you can't vote on who's going to the general election because you're not a Republican. You know, so it's you know, and then for all those independents, you can't vote in anybody's primary. So, you know, I think you know, it will make it. I think open primaries open the door for a lot of the stuff, but it's not something that the 2 major parties want, though. They don't want that.
Well,
They don't want third parties either. They don't want third parties either.
Right. I mean, I think the American people are well aware of many of the problems that hobble our political system and the way in which current arrangements encourage a kind of electoral, I'm going to call it extremism, because it's going to produce the most extreme candidates, both left and right, given the way the primary system now runs. So reforms might produce candidates that are able to garner majority support in a general election. I think that's an important issue to consider. especially because as a little d Democrat, I do not think it's in the interest for the Democratic Party to produce extreme left-wing candidates that are going to go down to the defeat to more centrist forces in a general election. I don't think that's in the interest of the nation. I'd be, it's everyone knows, this, AJ. I think generally the Republican Party is poses a major danger to the stability of the United States in ways that Democrats don't even factor in this conversation. It's not even it's nothing near to equivalence, and we should stop having these conversations that treat them as such.
I want to just say one thing too. We still gonna go off early. I just want to say one thing, and if people don't see it live, then they can see it. I'm probably gonna edit this part out, edit this to just this part. Yo, New York Democrats need to get their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
You are single-handedly responsible for the Democratic Party losing the House. And those seats that they got, those are Democratic seats that flipped.
Right.
Those are Democratic seats. Even the dude who lied in Nassau County, I think that was a Democratic district. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're scared to kick him out now. Because if they kick him out and they have a special election, they don't think that they think they're gonna lose that seat back to the Democrats. So they dealing with the dude, what's his name, Santos or whatever, who can't tell you what school he went to. He went to all these schools he didn't go to, and he worked at all these Fortune 500 companies he didn't work at, and he's gay and black and lesbian and Latino and Jewish and dude, what aren't you? Like, he's everything. Like he's been caught in every lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been caught in every lie that he put out there. And this dude is a congressman, and because McCarthy had to sell his soul to become the speaker, he gave this dude a seat, like a commission seat, a gavel, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude shouldn't even be in Congress. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, dude, like, there's a whole lot. I told y'all, we've been on hiatus for a minute. There's a whole lot of stuff that happened, and there's a whole lot of stuff we're going to be addressing. There's a whole lot of, especially locally. New Rochelle, I'll be there soon. I know I've been getting the calls. I know there's some stuff going on there. We're going to be talking about the library here in Mount Vernon. We're going to talk about the hospital here in Mount Vernon. I have an editorial that's going to be coming out about that real soon, about the violence. Like, I was on a Zoom with Tracy. They're getting physically attacked. And the nurses.
I'm sorry, at the hospital.
Yeah, the nurses. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, one day next week, I'm with the union, one of the union guys on the day that Tracy's working, in the evening, we're gonna have Tracy give us a walkthrough of the hospital, show us all the dysfunction going on up there. So when I talk about it in my editorial, I ain't really gotta, what the nurses tell me, I ain't really gotta just use their names because I seen it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went in there and seen the conditions myself.
Right.
So yeah, I'm supposed to do that one day this week.
Okay.
Wednesday, I'm going in there. Yeah. But nurses is getting attacked. You know what I'm saying? They don't have security. I don't know if they don't have enough security or what the problem is. But we were on a Zoom with them, and I told them, I said, y'all give me the information. I'm gonna let the residents don't know this stuff is going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. And we need to put our foot in the governor. I'm telling you, Mr. Perfect Opportunity, when she was down here campaigning for them votes, and she really needed them votes because Zeldin was coming after, was catching up. She needed them votes down here. That was the time that everybody should have been like, yo, what about our hospital? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she got the vote now, but we need to still hold her accountable. Because, she needed the votes. But the real time to strike would have been just before when she came here to Mount Vernon to campaign. You know what I'm saying? They should have been there right outside the building, making noise and holding up signs and everything. All the news would have covered that. But, we got to get it. So, yeah, I'm going to be covering the hospital. covering the library. There's the libraries, and there's several different things going on in the Rochelle that I've been getting calls about, and the Mount Vernon mayoral election, the Yonkers mayoral election, all of this stuff is going to be. It's going to be a very active year. These elections are going to be uglier than last time, and I mean, I'm already seeing people picking sides in the whole nine already. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, how you this, that, and other, and this, that, yo, you know. Actually, I got screamed on by a sister who follows us, who will remain nameless, because Sean Patterson Howard is one of the women on the cover of the book, thinking that's gonna hurt the other candidates. Like, and she gonna use that. How can I do a book about the historic achievements of African American women and omit the history of the first elected Black woman mayor in the city I personally live in? Like, where they do that at? My book is not about, who for this election. You know what I'm saying? It's celebrating women, but I'm already getting, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that to say, not to call the person out, but saying how sides is being drawn and people is already starting to nitpick and getting ugly, and you know what I'm saying? And, all that stuff already. And ain't nobody on the ballot yet.
Well, AJ, I want to underscore the importance of everyone, because I think this is so true in the city of Mount Vernon, that, and I guess many other areas that are of concern to me. I want to underscore the need for people to comport themselves in a professional manner, applying the professional standards that are accepted as the best practice in your field. And if you do so, I think you're far more likely to make decisions that are in keeping with the highest values. The highest values in the field of journalism are to select people for accolades and recognition based on some kind of objective merit. And I know that, I happen to be a guy that you talk to about these things, and I know you don't reach these decisions lightly. And, I know that you have given a lot of thought and time and energy as to what kind of achievements and other criteria should be used to select from the numerous women who could possibly be honored in the book. There are a limited number of pages. There's a limited number of people that you could actually single out for recognition. And at some point, it has to be drawn to a close. And I can tell you, I urge people, when assessing the work of other professionals, and also, trying to figure out what kind of decisions they should make, to let those professional ethics be a touchstone in your guide. It's hard doing the job that you do. And I know, because I am, I'm behind the scenes with you in ways that many other people are not privileged to be. And I know how much you anguish over these things, how much thought you give to it. And I know that it only compounds your job and makes, a difficult task even more difficult when, people are unnecessarily, in your ear, and, they're asking you to second guess yourself. And so, that's my thoughts on the matter, AJ. We can't hear you, brother.
Yeah, I had some cars, some motorcycles or something going by when I didn't want that coming through while you was talking. Yeah, yo, you know what? I'm not even stressing it no more. I'm just gonna do what we do. Yo, everybody's not gonna be happy with what we do, the way we do it, and I mean that's on them. Like, you know what I mean? I can't, you just do the best that you do, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, my challenge to anyone who is disappointed if they didn't happen to make it in this edition of the book, and I anticipate that there will be subsequent editions. You know what? In the meantime, go out and do something that AJ Woodson simply can't ignore. You know, for its how far-reaching the accomplishment. And when he comes back in 3, 4, 5 years and does a revision, another edition, maybe, you know, maybe then, you know.
I wanna so I wanna shout out something real quick. I'm gonna take us off and put this. Um, oops, what's the background? Um, I just wanted to show them. Detective Christopher Ridley Foundation honoring a fallen hero. Wednesday, January 25th. That's this Wednesday, 4:30, 85 Court Street, White Plains, New York, 10601. At the scene where he was shot and killed um, by White by White Plains, no, it's County Police, White Plains Police, I think it was. One of them, I think, I'm not sure if it's the county or White Plains though.
I thought it was
But he was, huh?
I thought it was White Plains.
Yeah, it was, but at the spot, so they have a monument, a thing there, and I guess this is the anniversary of it, so they're honoring him this Wednesday. Shout to his father Stan Ridley, who hit me on text message just now. Shout for him. And to this day, I mean, they gave him a statue or whatever there, but to this day, there's been no justice for that situation either. Nobody's gone to jail. Nobody's been suspended. Nobody's been blamed. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's been criminally charged or anything. Like, they gave him a statue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, and while I'm sure I can't speak for Stan, I'm sure he would rather, I'm sure he appreciates the statue, but he'd rather have his son killers, the cops that killed his son, punished. You know what I'm saying? Just like Kenneth Chamberlain, the people that killed his father. You know what I'm saying? Like the cops that killed his father. You'd rather see them punished. You know what I'm saying? The ones who took your son's life. So, the statue and everything is nice. You know what I mean? But but it is there, and everybody who can go out this Wednesday. The Detective Christopher A. Ridley Foundation honoring a fallen hero. Wednesday, January 25th. That's this Wednesday, 4:30 at 85 Court Street, White Plains, New York, 10601. And yes, for anybody who says hero with a question mark, yes, hero. He was off duty. He was a Mount Vernon police officer off duty in White Plains, waiting for his girlfriend or whoever to come out of the store, sitting in his car. Being a police, you're a police officer all the time. He saw someone being robbed or beat up or whatever the situation was, and being a police officer, he intervened. And in him intervening, when the cops came, they killed him. You know what I'm saying? So right. Yes, I use the word hero. He was a hero. He could have been like a lot of other people. One, this ain't my jurisdiction. This is White Plains, not Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? He was off duty. I'm not on the clock. He could have sat back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there are some officers that do that. You know what I mean? But he intervened in another city, and, however it played out, it ended with the cops who showed up on the scene shooting him, just him.
Yes, I recall.
You know what I'm saying? Not the person, not the other person, but just him. So the statue is nice, and I'm sure the family appreciate it, but I'm sure they would appreciate justice or accountability, which they have not got yet.
I'm going to say, AJ, that, our perspective on this matter isn't as family members, but as members of the community who are concerned about the impact that it has on public order and solidarity amongst citizens. And it is the reason that punishment must be insisted upon is because, insofar as officers fall short of professional standards and take the life of someone without just cause, it undermines confidence in our police. And we cannot be left with the choice of either having policing as a deterrent and and at the same time unwarranted killings of black men especially, but American citizens across the board. Those are not
Now,
our options.
so I was listening to a lot, of course, Martin Luther King with the holiday, and also Malcolm X. And in 1964, when an unarmed black man got killed in Harlem, they both gave these speeches and interviews and stuff. And I could literally play the audio clip from them from 1964, 2 years before I was born, and they apply to 2023.
Right.
So not much has been done. I will be 57 in exactly 2 weeks from today. And so 59 years, almost 60 years, not much has changed. Because I can play the clip from 1964 when that led to the riots, when the young man got the unarmed young man, black young man got killed in Harlem by the police, by a lieutenant who was nothing happened to. Nothing happened to him. He didn't lose no time. Nothing happened to him. They tried to say the black guy had a knife, and no knife was found, no weapon was found, and all that.
Right.
Dude, that's almost 60 years ago. And we're still having these same conversations. Longer than I've been alive. And going back further than that, but I'm just saying, I've been hearing a lot with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Both of them have speeches and interviews about that incident. And I could play them right now. And you would think I'm talking about something in 2023 right now.
Right. And we will not have any kind of resolution of the problems of police community relationships until we honestly tackle it. I mean, there's no way around it. I'm sorry. And I say this because I know a lot of police officers who will hear such expressions will deem them to be anti-police. And I just don't think that's an accurate description. People who insist that bus drivers don't run over pedestrians would not be called, anti-bus driver. People who insist that teachers don't indoctrinate students with harmful ideas would not be called anti-teaching. Neither should people who insist that police only use deadly force when it is warranted should not be called anti-police. This is simply not true. It's not an accurate description of the stance that we're taking. Saying be the best police officer you can be. And if you're not a great police officer and can't do the minimal requirement of the job, and that is not to harm civilians who did nothing wrong, then you don't need to be a police officer. Like, there's circumstances under which I don't need to be a teacher. And people will throw me out in the classroom and wouldn't care. Let me do some harm to my students, AJ. I'm out. So, I don't think it's unfair for anyone to ask. And I think that the complaints of many police officers are baseless. Like, y'all got to do a better job. Sorry.
No doubt. And I just want to say in closing, in watching a lot of these speeches over the last week or two, is the first time I actually heard Malcolm X quote Martin Luther King. in the Mike Wallace interview where he said my comp. What did he say? I guess they had just started, dealing with each other. And he said my recent, I don't know what he said, comrade, whatever word he used, Martin Luther King, like he said, the riot is the voice, is the language of the unheard. And people are and he went in on the whole unheard thing on the Mike Wallace interview, right after that, right after the young man was killed in Harlem. And I had never seen actually Malcolm quote Martin. In the beginning, he never had anything good to say about him. It was the first time I actually see him quote him. And I was like, I had never seen that before. So I had learned in the Mike Wallace, I think it was the second one, but it was the one in 1964, right during the riots. It was actually during the riots after the young man died. I mean, the young man was shot down. So I was like, wow, I never knew he quoted in a positive way Martin Luther King. Like, I'm sure it was the first time to my knowledge that I knew. And I was like, wow, that was the one thing I learned out of all of that. I was like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah. So, yo, well, we actually did go to 8 because
I was saying to myself,
I was about to go.
We ain't gonna let Bob stop us, but
I was looking at the front door at 7. I told people it was only going to be an hour. So anybody who still hung out with us is still hanging out with us. Anybody who watches this, we are back. We are off our winter hiatus. This is Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show. This is episode 359. We're back. There's been a whole lot going on while we were gone. We will be addressing as much of it as possible. And you know what? It's I had read something that I had seen somewhere, and I'm gonna end with these words, yo. We will not constrict ourselves to make others feel comfortable. It is often my job to make you uncomfortable. It is to talk about those uncomfortable things that you don't want to talk about, that don't get discussed, that people don't bring up, that need to be discussed. It is my job to make you uncomfortable sometimes. So I will not say what needs to be said because others feel uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, for too long, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna proudly say this, and whoever takes this, wherever, go run, tell that, and do whatever. For too long, Black people in this country are told to get over something, to be the one, to be the compassionate one when we're attacked and everything, to be considerate, to be forgiving. You understand what I'm saying? When we're uncomfortable for the things that make us uncomfortable, but we're criticized greatly when we say anything that makes anybody else uncomfortable. In this country, you can't be pro-Black without being called anti-something. And yo, I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-bad police. I'm not anti-anything. I'm anti, if you are in a position of power and you are abusing your power, then I'm anti-you. Anybody who, and if you're a police officer that is abusing your practice and your practices and your training and your procedures, then I'm anti-you. There are a lot of police officers who are doing the job, and I got no problem with them, and I support them. So let's get it twisted. When I say something, I'm talking about that individual, not the whole group of people. You understand what I'm saying? We'd be like, oh, he's anti. No, that person got to go. That person is everything I'm saying. That doesn't mean all cops. That doesn't mean all anything. So, again, I'm going to stand by these words a lot this year. We will not constrict ourselves to make others feel comfortable in 2023. Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show is back. And with that, I bid you adieu.